I remember when I first started earning my own money. At first as a waitress when I was 16. It was hard work, but wow, did it feed the achiever in me. The more efficient and friendlier I was, the more tips I got. There at that first job, I learned that the customer is always right. Until you get to the kitchen, then the chef is always right. After that, I earned my money as an au pair, and I had to do some impressive time management and planning. Not yet having my own children, I learned there that kids cost a lot and apparently don't consult their parents' schedule before having their own. And then eventually, I earned my money as an intern in a church. As a 20-something-year-old, I thought I knew quite a lot, and yet I was doing pretty mundane work, quite humbling. But here I learned that I can cut out 500 little fish and loaves for Sunday school while watching my favorite series. But my biggest awareness I now have about my first earning phase is that I had no idea how rich I was then. Because everything I earned, even though it wasn't a lot, was mine. I had no debit orders, my parents were still paying my medical aid, my rent was being covered. I didn't even know exactly what insurance was. And the world seemed like a relatively simple place to navigate. And if my money was finished, I was still okay. I could just shop in my parents' grocery cupboard. But then, adult life hit me. Tax. Who knew the salary you earn would never actually even show in your account? Life insurance, wasn't I invincible? Retirement annuities, was that necessary? And you pay for water? What in the world? And so my bubble burst, and what I earned didn't feel like mine anymore. And honestly, I became possessive, clinging to the security I found in what I owned and earned. In reality, I felt that the more that I could control and gather, the more foolproof my backup plan was if things got tough. And more I realized we all have our stories that shape how we are with and feel about money and possessions. I wonder, what's your earliest memory about money? And it's not only the physical circumstances we grew up in, but also how we interpreted it. It's our temperament and our personality that plays in. It's the influences that shaped us. It's even the time we grew up in. But becoming aware of our relationship with money and possessions can help us recalibrate and rewrite where we need to. And this is so important that we often find Jesus talking about money and possessions in the Bible. So today we want to turn and ask him, what are your thoughts, Jesus, on my way of handling what you've given me in this life? Read with me from 1 Chronicles 29. Yours, Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the majesty and the splendor, for everything in heaven and earth is yours. Yours, Lord, is the kingdom. You are exalted as head over all. Wealth and honor come from you. You are the ruler of all things. In your hands are strength and power to exalt and give strength to all. Imagine the significance of this moment. David prays these words as they prepare to build the temple of the Lord, beautifully, elaboratively, as perfectly as human beings can imagine. And consider this, remember, while Israel wandered through the desert, they only had the tabernacle, a tent, the place where God was accessible to the holiest of holies, the priests. And this temporary structure was the symbol of God going and being with them, this wandering nation, of protecting and guiding them. And now finally, they had enough security, land, material, and riches, finally, to build a permanent structure with which they could honor God. Gold and silver, read the chapter, bronze, iron, precious stones. Finally, they had made it. Sigh of relief. And that's the temptation, isn't it? To get to a place or to wish for a place to say, finally, I've made it. But David's prayer orientates the people and us to a vital truth. Everything we are and everything we have belongs to God. In a culture obsessed with ownership, control, and self-sufficiency, individual success and security, David points to a different reality, a perspective that points us to what life with Jesus is like. And even just in this chapter in Chronicles, we see that there is joy in this way. So what if we recalibrate today to step into a way of life that brings joy and significance and freedom? Where we are not, a way of life where we are not consumed or constricted, but empowered and inspired to work and live as God calls us to. Let's acknowledge who the owner is first. Everything belongs to God. It says everything in heaven and earth is yours. I am reminded of the master who entrusts his servants with talents to keep until he returns. He's in fact calling them to be good stewards of his property. And a steward is someone who is entrusted with managing or taking care of something that belongs to someone else. And the master gives them everything that they need to be good stewards. But what the master gives remains the master's. It says in Matthew 25, verse 19, after a long time, their master returned from his trip and called them to give an account of how they had used his money. The Message version says that after having returned and seeing how the first two servants had been good stewards, the master wants to continue in partnership with them. And so here in Chronicles, David begins with acknowledging God as the true owner of all things. Not just the temple offerings they were bringing, but the kingdom, the people, the land. David could have used this opportunity to boost the people's confidence in their own abilities, or strategically emphasized how their struggle had been rewarded and they were now stronger than ever before. But David doesn't do that. He says, remember everything we have, everything that is in our hand comes from his hand. Everything in heaven and earth is yours, Lord, still, always. You see, stewardship begins with this core conviction: God owns it all, not just a bit of what we have, everything. And if we look honestly at ourselves, this conviction challenges our instinct to say, my house, my career, my money. And maybe we want to say mine, 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 because then we can pride ourselves in what we have. It makes us feel good, secure. I have arrived. And I can sigh and say, finally, at least to some extent, I've made it. But oh, how entitled that leaves us. It's my right to have what I have. I've earned it. But rather than strengthening our own ego, the invitation in David's prayer and the parable of the talents is to remember that the master trusted you with his money, his possessions, his house, his resources, his people. What a privilege. What an honor that he sees in you and I potentially good stewards. What a blessing to enjoy what he gives. It's the difference between clenched fists, clinging to what I earned, and open hands, receiving what he gives. Acknowledging God as owner of everything I have and of everything I acquire, invites us to a posture of humility and responsibility. So where in your life have you taken ownership of something that's actually God's? Is it perhaps visible in your anxiety about not having enough? Is it perhaps in obsessively acquiring more and more to feel secure enough? Is it evident in your fear of failure, of not providing enough? Is it in the way you use what you have recklessly or selfishly, or on the other hand, with no joy or true contentment? Is it in the way you hold on to everything you have as if God has no say over it? It doesn't have to be this way. There is freedom to be found in a life with Jesus. And yes, acknowledging ownership and truly allowing Jesus to be Lord of this part of our lives, as well as everything else, isn't always easy. It's a journey. And on this journey, we also have to acknowledge who's in charge. And we have to say, we are not in charge. David prays, "You are exalted as head over all. You are the ruler of all things." God is not a silent shareholder. He isn't distant. He isn't an uninvolved owner removed from daily operations. He is Lord of our lives, partnering in the good work set before us. Stewarding well is done with him. We seek his will in how we earn, spend, in how we give, and how we save. Because it's one thing to say God owns everything, it's another to live as though he rules. This way that we are invited to is about surrender and obedience, trusting that God's ways are best. We get to hand back control to him. And I suspect we all have to do that regularly, maybe daily. I'm so sorry, Lord, I overstepped again. I'm sorry, for a moment there I thought I knew better. I felt safer trying to steer things myself. Forgive me, Lord. At different times, for different people, different things drive us to take hold and to take back control. And it may be our overwhelming need for comfort. It may be our desire for status and acceptance, our longing to be seen, our need for safety and security, our insistence that our plans need to go as we envisioned, our dream to simply enjoy life more, to escape and to have fun. None of this is wrong. It's being human as God created us to be, but our human desires and longings can drive us to grab the steering wheel from God as we force and rush and impulsively try to fix things and push things to suit us better. Those are those disordered attachments. Grab, hold, and the world supports this. Seize control, take hold of life, make your own destiny. Jesus, on the other hand, invites us to release it. The New Living Translation of Matthew 16, verse 25 says, "If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it." To live the way Jesus invites, to steward well, we must surrender control of decisions, of timelines, of outcomes, of possessions. Isn't that what Jesus invited the rich man to do? So what does surrendering control look like for you personally? Here it may mean by just asking God, "Lord, what do you want to do through me with what you've given me?" Because God gives with purpose. Wealth and honor come from you. In your hands are strength and power to exalt and give strength to all. God is the provider of everything. David reminds the people, even the strength they used to gather wealth was given to them by God. Your energy to get up in the morning and go to work, that capacity is from God. Your talents, your skills, your time, your opportunities, all from God. That conversation, that networking opportunity, that opportunity to study, that person you met who gave you a chance in life, God provides abundantly. And he has something in mind. He knows how you can use this well. He has a purpose for you. We are blessed to be a blessing. What God gives us is meant to flow through us for his purposes. Think about the people here, all contributing to the temple, to the building of the temple, contributing generously. A symbol of God at the center of lives, that symbol is being built. God is present, God is leading, and they give to build not only this building, but this knowing, this dream, this symbol. They give to serve. and they gave in a way that honored God. Verse 7 and 9 says they gave toward the work on the temple of God. And the people rejoiced at the willing response of their leaders, for they had given freely and wholeheartedly to the Lord. David the king also rejoiced greatly. Do you feel this atmosphere? Giving for a purpose? And God does something with what he gives you if you let him. And he won't force, he won't demand, but he is expectant, waiting, anticipating. He wants to work with you, through you. And I wonder, when we someday see Jesus again standing in front of us, what stories will he tell us about what he did with what we gave freely and wholeheartedly? What fields will he show us as he reminds us that he sowed our small seeds of generosity and he watered them and he tended to them as a loving farmer so that they may grow to be a great blessing in his kingdom? This invitation to this way of life may ask different things of each of us. Some of us may be asked to start planning better. Stewarding well may mean tackling your debt bit by bit and getting the advice you need to do so. It may mean saving for retirement or setting up your 5-year plan for your business so that you can be in a stronger position to bless others and utilize your resources as God leads. Some of us may need to recognize that we need to start giving now. Yes, your plan to secure your financial wealth may not be completed, but what can you give as you are on your way there? How can you be more generous now? It may mean postponing an expensive buy or choosing something less impressive. It may mean adjusting your financial timeline or your financial goals slightly. Some of us need to let go and surrender our budgets to God in very difficult financial times. Without ignoring the perhaps dark reality, the feelings of, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, without denying that you can give him your anxiety and your fear. You can turn to him and you can acknowledge that he understands your situation. Or some of us may need to prioritize what the best use of our resources are now. And for that, you will need wisdom and guidance, which God will provide as you turn to him. We can learn to be good and faithful stewards with very little or with all the riches in the world. The master was never angry with the servant for how little he had, only upset that he didn't do anything with what he did have. We can, rather than standing passively, we can live fully. We can enjoy life with him as we steward what he has given us. David and the Israelites discover something of the joy of acknowledging that God is the owner and the Lord of everything they have in their hands. And so they can give freely, willingly. In David's prayer, he prays, I know, my God, that you test the heart and are pleased with integrity. All these things I have given willingly and with honest intent. May that be our prayer today as well. Examine our hearts, O Lord, and lead us to live freely, responsibly, joyfully, and willingly. Leave us not in our shame, Lord, or our guilt or our pride that our obsession with money and possessions so easily causes, but deliver us from ourselves and the pressures of the world. For yours is everything in heaven and earth. We answer to your call to work and live with you. May our prayer be empower us, strengthen us, and guide us to be good and faithful stewards. Receive the blessing of the Lord. The love of God our Father, the friendship and the grace of Jesus Christ, his Son, and the fellowship and the power of the Holy Spirit is with each of us. Amen.